guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming, Sunny Mountains, what are the gaming drag? Today I'm coming back at you on the Let's Play episode of Beast of the Thorns, Chris's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright, I have to say, well done. If you guys are staying over today, I'll give you the executive suite used by senior officers. It's just a bigger bed, though. The members of the fraternity were all big and tall, so the beds were already bigger than the average double bed. And what it was like to have a bed even bigger than that intrigued me, so I decided to stay the night. After receiving Darwin's keys, I went to my friends to see what they were doing. I looked up and down my frat house and found that Chris had gone down to the basement to work out, with Ostrom watching over him, and they were both very focused. I didn't want to disturb them, so I retreated to the first floor. And Amor left the fraternity. He sent me a message saying he was going into town on business that wouldn't be back until tomorrow. I don't know how he can be so busy as a student, and it seems like he's been disappearing a lot lately. With a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, I walked up to the third floor and opened the room for the senior cadres. I was greeted by a huge double bed that could be called a sea of blankets, but there was nothing special about it except that it was big and fluffy. I took off my helmet and leaned back into the fluffy sea of quilts. Well, I must say, it looks plain, but the touch is quite upscale. It's true that there are some things you can't just see with your eyes. You need a body to experience them. I tried to hook up my cell phone to the charger, but I found it difficult to crawl and move across the sea of quilts, and after a few struggles on the overly fluffy quilts, I fell into a dreamless sleep before I could get close enough to the socket. Sucked in a breath of cold air, I woke up from the darkness in a cold sweat. It's still light outside the window. I don't know what made me wake up in the middle of the night. Since I don't have eyelids, my quality of sleep has dropped drastically. If I still wake up in the middle of the night every day like this, I really don't need to live. I laid back down in the bed, and it still felt warm and familiar, as if I had always slept on it. I tried to go back to sleep, but in the darkness I heard intermittent voices that became clearer and clearer. It's your fault. And how do you know? Oh, and how do you know? He never looked like me since he was a child. He's probably your illegitimate child, isn't he? You have the nerve to say such things. I haven't settled the score with you yet. Stop yelling. If the neighbors find out that we have a freak in the family, what will become of our reputation? Father and mother are talking. Oh, okay. I've embarrassed them because I'm a monster. Stop arguing. It's all my fault because I'm not good enough. I shouldn't have been born. Why did you have to give birth to me? You already had my brother. I'm not strong at all, though I always appear fearless in front of my friends. I'm just diverting attention. If I focus all my attention on my friends, I won't notice that I'm the most miserable one. A knock on the door. Knock, knock. Mr. Castle. Hess? Castle. This is the federal government's magical creature counselor. You can no longer remain in the human community. Please cooperate with the government's magical creature protection policy, or we will use our enforcement powers. I've been reported. Not even a day. I only realized this morning that I'm a throwback monster, and the counselor came in the afternoon. You want to kick me out of this house, don't you? To you, I'm just a burden you want to get rid of, right? Don't waste our time, you stinky devil. Get lost. I'm not a demon. I'm as human as you are, with blood and flesh. I can feel sadness and pain. Why are you doing this to me? What did I do wrong? You didn't deserve to be born. I didn't deserve to be born. If you don't come out, I'm going to break the door. No, please. This is my home, and you're the ones who should leave. Why do you want to kick me out of my own home? Dad? Mom? Fred, tell them it's all a misunderstanding. Fred, speak up for me. Fred! Why are you looking at me like that? The knocking on the door turns into pounding, incessant banging. I hide under the covers, burying my head under the pillow. Hess! Leave me alone, please! Hess! Hess! Why do you have to push me like this? I have nothing left. I have no head, no home. My life, my friends, my future, my existence, all gone. Why do you have to empty the last shreds of hope I have? It's just a tiny glimmer of hope, and yet you're still prying open my fingers, trying to snatch it away from me. Hess Castle, wake up! I look back from the darkness, and in the hazy shimmer I see the gray eyes of a fox. He shook me awake with deadly force, and the hand he grasped me with trembled as much as my body. I settled down and tried to squeeze out a calm tone. Good morning, Amor. What time is it? Fox looked at me in surprise, his expression shifting as if he were on the verge of tears. But he suppressed his emotions, trying to make the tone natural. But the broken tone betrayed him. This is not the time to say good morning. Hess Castle, you're sleeping like a mess. I'm fine, it's just a bad dream. Yet my trembling hands do not give my words conviction. You're not okay. What makes you think you can hide from a partner who resonates with you? I thought we had developed a deeper bond. But you still shut me out. It's nothing. I'm just, still digesting it all. How do you expect me to believe you? These rough, it's nothing. These perfunctory, I'm fine. They only prove that you're not okay at all. I've resonated and disturbed your sleep. Sorry. This isn't the time for this. Amor's voice was broken and ragged, and he did everything in his power to keep this from scaring me with his roar. He sniffled and forced himself to calm down. You don't have to hold on alone. You can rely on me. Second, y'all. Water time. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back in, shall we? Okay, Amor. Why can't I do it? When you're suffering, I'm the only one who can help, but you refuse to reach out to me. Why don't you ask me for help? Amor. Hey, Amor. The fox's tearful eyes looked at me, and it touched me that I had worried him for no reason. It's really just a nightmare. Amor's brow knit in agony, as if my words had punched him hard. Hess. I am furious. Also jealous, but more angry. Despite your own wounds, you're still worrying about Chris. You're the one among us three who's been hurt the most, yet you give the most. Can you not be so kind? Chris stepped into the shithole that Ostrom set up. I saw it all, but he brought it on himself. He had to get up on his own, yet you went down with him. He spoke to himself in a whispering voice. This is driving me nuts. You're the one who needs help, Hess. Don't pretend everything's okay. You can't fool me, so how can you fool yourself? I have watched and watched over you from a long time ago, but you have never reached out to me for help, and therefore can only hope that my company will enable you to recover from your scars. Yet you do not consider yourself injured. Instead, you take your time and energy to help others and turn a blind eye to your own wounds. More than once you've refused my hand and told me you're fine with a broken smile. What shall I do to make you accept my hand? Amor unconsciously opens his empty palm, then tightly clasps it. You've already been good enough to me. How much longer do I have to be good? The fox murmured, his gaze a little scary, but then he turned his eyes away. No, pretend I didn't say that. You're one of those people who are kind and at the same time horribly cruel. I've been saved by your kindness and wounded by the same, Hess, and your gentleness is the blade that tortures me, and you don't know it. I don't know how to help you. Your heart is a high wall. As long as you speak up, I'm willing to do anything for you, but you remain silent, and then I realize too late that you're severely wounded, bleeding profusely. What can I do to make you trust me? Make you believe that I'm your backup, a safe haven you can trust? You're already my safe haven. But you never looked to me for shelter. His eyes had sparks. No, not just sparks. They were prairie flames. Because I had no head, he couldn't see my expression. He looked at me thirstily, hoping to find any clue, body language, resonance, any signal. I forced a smile. Maybe one day I'll actually come to you to seek shelter from the rain, and who knows, I might even stay and refuse to leave. You better treat me well. The fox frowned. He saw right through the facade I was making. Yeah. Okay. But he still smiled. That smile felt lonely. What's wrong with that? My place is your place. You can stay as long as you want. Sleep now. I will stay with you, and nothing can harm you under my watch, including yourself. I reached up and scratched his chin. Thanks, Amor. It's good to have you as a friend. Amor took the hand I'd been tickling his chin with, a firm grip that wasn't subtle or restrained. Friend. Yeah, okay, friend. We lie facing each other, his fox tail stretching towards me. I know he wants to hold it, but ever since he said that the tail is a very private part, I dare not touch it. At least the bitter orange scent of the tail relaxes me. Because I have no eyelids, Amor can't confirm if I'm asleep or not. His gray eyes stare straight at me, as if a flame quietly burning. I'm not foolish, but I dare not guess what Amor is thinking. Amor is too outstanding, whether in appearance, popularity, intelligence, or gentle personality. I can't compare. Having such an excellent friend like him is simply extravagant for me. Many outstanding friends around me were introduced by Amor. Even my ex-girlfriend dated me to get closer to Amor. Amor was our Cupid, suggesting gifts for our anniversary, advising on how to dress for a date. Amor always fulfills my requests, never refusing, never asking for anything in return. I never thought my desires might hurt him, but I hurt him. The three of us were exiled to the outskirts, adapting to new lives, grieving over the departure from our old lives. But because of Ostrom, I had to focus on Chris, even asking Amor to cooperate with me. I'm sure there is friendship between Amor and Chris, but that doesn't mean Amor can give endlessly. The whole thing started because of Chris's capriciousness. From the very beginning, we could have turned away, ignoring what Ostrom was conspiring, but Chris couldn't leave. He had been waiting for this moment his whole life. Since Chris couldn't leave, neither could I, and Amor had to stay too. It wasn't his choice to stay. He's just too good a friend, allowing me to be reckless, allowing me to demand endlessly, without complaints, without frowning. Because of this, I can't let him worry anymore. Even if my teeth fall out and I'm coughing up blood, all I can say from my mouth is I'm fine. It's really ironic. Every cell in my body screams that I'm okay, but facing my closest friend, all I can say is that everything's fine. I sigh deeply in my heart. Getting ready to sleep, yet strangely that in the dim light I resonate with the fox's happiness. He's delighted to be able to hold me in his arms and sleep, mixed with relief, excitement, and guilt. But I can't think too much about its meaning, drifting into dreams amidst the lingering scent of bitter orange. I wake up contentedly. It seems having someone to sleep with is a good way to avoid nightmares. Consciousness rises from the darkness. Without eyes, I can't adjust the light with eyelids, but as my non-existent brain begins to function, my consciousness gathers as if in a dark sea, then breaks through the surface of that chaos. I try to move, unable to move. I quickly understand what's happened. Amor's notorious for his terrible sleeping positions. I'm chained to the bed. The fox has somehow slept behind me and hugged me, his thighs clamped around my waist, an arm through my armpit, his head against the side of my neck, his warm breath exhaling on my collarbone. My body was buried in his fur, and I was embarrassed to think of any particularly warm sensations behind my ass or anything. Amor! Amor, wake up! Alright, y'all, I'm actually going to pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to have a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all if I do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. Thanks, and yeah, that's about it. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our Not Safe for Work contents as little as $5. And if y'all don't want to donate to our Patreon, you can donate using Super Thanks on YouTube. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!